dia.
Bom dia.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Memenjay.
Memenjay.
Dube Utro.
Dube Utro.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Sawati.
Sawati.
Chawin. Manga Nangu Manga.
Manga Manga Manga.
Oye. Sopa Sam. My name is Kevin Booker. Now the reason why I started off in all those different languages is because those are the different cultures that represent the state of Connecticut, that live here in this state. So health is crucial when it comes to our state and embracing other cultures. Because many cultures are unaware and they have different ways of how they look at and view health. That's why it's so important for us to have summits like this, so that we can educate our own communities and our own diverse communities in many ways. Michelle Obama said it the best when she came into office with her husband, Barack. She said, my #1 issue is what? My #1 plan was to focus on what? I can't hear you guys. Healthcare, obesity, which is a major problem in our communities. That's why summits such as this are crucial and important. That's why I started off in all those different languages, because this is a minority health summit. We're focusing on different cultures and the effects in our communities. So the first person I want to introduce is Elizabeth Ritter. She's a state representative, CT 38. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I cannot beat that introduction, and I'm not going to try. Sometimes it's better to just leave it. But thank you and good morning. I would like to welcome everybody here. It's a thrill to see so many people here in the room. A big thrill. My name is Betsy Ritter, and I represent the 38th district, which are the towns of Waterford and Montville, surrounding towns, obviously. And for the past couple of years, I've had the opportunity to chair, from the House side, the Legislative Committee on Public Health. And you're right, these are issues that are not just important to each of us as individuals, but to everybody in the state of Connecticut and all of the many groups. The richness of the diversity that we have in the state of Connecticut is so dependent on our health, the public's health. And it's a great opportunity for me to welcome you all here. I'm thrilled to see Stephanie organize this event. As I know you know, yes, let's do it. No pressure, Stephanie. You've done it at the top right now. You'll stay there. But this should be a great morning, and you have a wonderful agenda. I think that it's also a wonderful acknowledgement of the fact that April is Minority Health Month. And one of the things that is constantly troubling and difficult is this discussion we are continually presented with the difficulties when we look at disparities across income groups, across faith groups, racial groups, all of the realm of sort of the socioeconomic conversation we cannot seem to get over in so many ways. We still are struggling to deliver health care in a way that's fair and equitable to everybody across these groups. And I can tell you there are a lot of us in the state legislature that struggle with this, with our colleagues. It's groups like you that can help us by giving us the information, the ideas, and the story that we so badly
Give a round of applause, please. I forgot to bring my white wig so I can speak to you. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Ledgelight Health District and the African American Health Council of Southeastern Connecticut for organizing this very important summit, and also for inviting me to make a few remarks. And I'm one who can't resist the opportunity to make a few remarks.
as some of you may know. So let me commence. The Connecticut Multicultural Health Partnership is a statewide organization. We have 300 plus members, both individuals and organizations. And our mission is to dedicate ourselves to identifying and addressing health inequity and health disparities. I am really pleased to note that next Friday, April 27th, the Connecticut Multicultural Health Partnership will be joining with the Hartford YWCA and the City of Hartford at the City Hall. We hope that the weather's good or somewhere outside, to take a stand against racism. And the Stand Against Racism, which is a national event, is designed to bring awareness of racism and the impact that racism has on health inequity issues. And so I want to talk about why we don't talk about racism in health equity issues. I don't usually read, but you know, I want to be sure I say what I want to say, so forgive me if I usually speak very extemporaneously. You know, I think if we honestly examine health inequity, we have to acknowledge that it has a root cause. And that root cause is racism and discrimination. And, you know, we have to really begin to have a discussion about this among ourselves, perhaps first, before we take it more public. But we really do need to do that. You know, I noticed that we largely avoid talking directly about racism and discrimination when we talk about health inequity and health disparities. We talk about the symptoms, the indices of health inequity and health disparities, and we try to talk about the causes in the context of talking about social determinants of health. But underlying those social determinants of health is a history and a legacy in this society of ours of racism and mistreatment of certain groups of people. So health equity to me, and to the partnership which I'm representing today, is an issue of social justice. And if we are to end health inequity and health inequality and bring an end to health disparities, we need to talk about and we need to end racism. You know, when I was driving down, I was thinking, here I go being extemporaneous. When I was driving down, I was thinking, you know, if every white person woke up tomorrow morning not being racist, racism would be gone. The effects of racism might still be around, but racism would be gone. And so we would have already tackled 70%, 80% of the problem around health disparities. But we are not very deft at talking about it in this context, which is one of the reasons why I think we don't talk about it. And we're awkward when we try to talk about it. I mean, I feel awkward talking about it right now, but damn, I'm going to do it. And, you know, it remains a hot-button issue in our society to talk about race and racism. I don't need to tell many of you here that that's the case. And frankly, it has a lot of painful emotion attached to it. And that's one of the reasons why we all maybe don't want to talk about it to each other. But we have to begin to talk about it. You know, racism greatly damages the lives of people who are targeted by it. And it also hurts those of us who are white, though how it hurts us is far, far, far from the damage inflicted on those who are targeted by racism. But it corrupts the humanity and compounds the ways we feel badly about ourselves. For all of us, it corrupts all of our humanity. And not standing up against racism erodes our integrity, and it undermines our sense of goodness and our self-worth. So, you know, I don't have the answers to how we will do this successfully, but I'd like to start the discussion by suggesting for me, maybe for you can think about it for you, a working definition of racism. And for me, it is the systematic, emphasis on system, I'll explain why in a minute, the systematic mistreatment of one group of people by another or other groups of people for the benefit of that other group. Now, why do I say systematic? Because you have to distinguish racism from, let's say, individual bigotry, all right? When I hear white people say somebody's been racist toward them, I have to laugh because it's not systematic in any way. People may have attitudes toward them, but it's not racism. Racism is something that's happened for hundreds of years. And so we need to begin to think about the difference between racism and bigotry. And I'd like us to continue to think about how we're going to talk about these issues openly and with civility toward each other. Because if we're going to end health inequity, we need to talk about racism in that quest. So to that end, I am very pleased to announce the formation within the Connecticut Multicultural Health Partnership of a new committee. And I can do this because I'm the chair. The bylaws say that I get to set up ad hoc committees and I'm doing it. And that committee will be a committee to end racism and discrimination. You know, we will feel our way through this because, as I said, it's, you know, there's some awkwardness and difficulty talking about this among ourselves. But I hope if you're not a member of the partnership, you will join the partnership. And more than that, I hope that you will help us in this work. So I just want to point out to you, you know, there's a little DVD in your bag that's from the partnership. And if you look at that, you'll see how, if you're not a member already, how to become a member, how to join us, go on our website. But I do invite you to join in this effort of ours, to try to create health equity, to try to eliminate health disparities by actually focusing on eliminating racism. Thank you.
On the back of your name tag, if you want to be part of the Health Council, sign up. Sign me up. Please, everyone. Make sure you sign up. We really need you. Now, I just want to elaborate before I introduce the next person up here. 2 days ago in USA Today, they had on the front cover, for some reason, I don't know why I say my newspaper, you know, it's here. They had on the front cover of USA Today, said, "Danger hidden in the yard." Deals with what Attorney Plebani was just mentioning, racism, discrimination for the poor. This little boy here, because of our factories back in the 1950s and the 60s and the 40s, they dumped, when they got rid of these factories and closed these factories, that lead poison has now affected a lot of these kids. And these are some of the health issues that many of the children and some of their families are dealing with. And this is a crucial issue that we're seeing throughout our country now. That's why it's so important that we have summits like this. Okay? So we can pass on and work on these issues that are occurring. Light Health District. Give a round of applause for David Southwood.
I'm not going to give a speech about health equity or the Health Equity Index this morning. But I'm thrilled to be here because this is a special moment. 5 years. Jackie, Ken, Stephanie. I want to focus on the African American Health Council, its celebration. Why is it important? Why is it urgently important? Public health is not easy. Public health is incredibly difficult. And the African American Health Council is crucial because we need an informed discussion leading to informed negotiations. Public health is about negotiating. As a society, we collectively act to ensure the conditions in which people may be healthy. But that's real difficult as we see looking about us at the world today. Public health is about negotiating. We negotiate what our standards for clean water are going to be. We negotiate as a society with public and private tugs and pulls about which vaccines our children should get. We are in a negotiation at the federal, state, and local level about really what constitutes health equity. We are not in agreement as a society. That's extraordinary. These negotiations should not be aimless or incoherent. These negotiations about public health should not be based on rumor and anecdote. They should be based on strong data. These negotiations for public health should not be unhinged from community mores and values. These negotiations are tough. And it is the African American Health Council and groups like it that lend focus, intelligence, and dignity to the struggle for negotiations for public health. And in so doing, they lend one of the highest causes that all of us contribute our life to, and that's to insert prevention into the economic and political processes of our society. And prevention is a verb.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salisbury. Also, just a reminder for everyone, nurses will actually be screening until 10:30 outside in the lobby, okay, until 10:30. But before I introduce our next incredible keynote speaker, in 2006, Tavis Smiley, he wrote an incredible book called The Covenant. And in The Covenant, he lays out a lot of critical and crucial issues that we deal with within the African American community and other issues. And I would highly recommend that you read that book and take it serious. It was an insightful, incredible book, Tavis Smiley, called The Covenant. Okay? Our keynote speaker is Reverend Ken L. Harris, co-chair of the African American Health Council. Reverend Ken Harris is currently employed at the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven as the project director of New Haven Healthy Start program in New Haven, Connecticut, a program to eliminate disparities in health and reduce infant mortality. He has worked in maternal and child health for over 20 years. And beginning with the Boston Health Start Initiative in Boston, Massachusetts, one of the original 15 federal Healthy Start programs in the country. Ken is also a past president of the National Healthy Start Association and currently serves on the NHSA Board of Directors and is chair of the Legacy Advisory Council. Prior to becoming staff with the BHSI in 1992, Ken participated in the BHSI Consortium as a resident and as part of his work in community engagement and development. He continues to provide technical assistance and program consultation to several sites across the country in the area of consortium development, program design, planning and implementation. In addition to his work, professional work, Ken is also a pastor of the Born Again Evangelistic Outreach Ministry in Groton, Connecticut, and founder of a faith-based health and health service organization, the ABBA Restoration Center, the ARC. He is also a certified HIV educator and is a co-founder of the Faith and AIDS Matters Network. He and his wife, I love this, he and his wife are foster parents with DCF, and they have one biological son, Colton, age 19, who is a sophomore at Connecticut College. Now this to me was incredible. He has been married to his wife, an inspiration, Angela, for 23 years. Give a round of applause for Ken, Reverend Ken L. Harris.
It's like so hard to like listen to people read your stuff. I said, don't say anything until Stephanie so no one needs to know all that stuff. I think the thing that I like that he said most though is that I am married to a wonderful woman. 23 years, it'll be 24 this year. She's seated right here at this table. Raise your hand, Angela. And I like to tell audiences that she's the only woman that I've ever been with, and I love her more today than I did when I courted her for 6 years prior to marrying her. That is the truth. Indeed, it is a blessing and a pleasure to be here for many, many reasons. I really appreciate the 3 Bs before me, Betsy, Brad, and especially Baker, who I used to work for and have great admiration for. And he's a very modest man because of what he's done and really the visionary behind the Health Equity Index, which is being used in 3 major cities and even beyond after its first 3 years of work. And so we look forward to great things with Health Equity Index. And I'm very proud to have worked at Ledgelight Health District because after going back to the foundation, I worked closely with our municipality there, the city health department. And I tell you, I'm proud of the work that we do here in Groton with our health district, even more so than what we do in the city of New Haven, because of some of their barriers. They're unable to address the issues the way that Ledgelight has been doing over the years. And I believe Baker came to Ledgelight around the same time that I did. And he deserves a round of applause because he's moved a lot of things in the last 6 years. And I also give a shout out to my colleagues from Ledgelight, old staff that became friends and remain friends. And so it's good to see everyone, Mary McGrattan, with Marilyn Weaver, all those folks that started with us. And I'm not calling everyone's name, but I just enjoy seeing all of you when we come here. I just want to quickly say, I really appreciate Betsy's comments and welcome and the work that she's done on behalf of the 38th District. Brad, you really just struck me because you just put it out there with regards to racism. And I've just left Detroit, just came in last night in fact, but we're part of a Action Learning Collaborative that's looking at the impact of race on birth outcomes. And as you heard in my bio, I work in infant mortality. And if you know anything about infant mortality, we look at infant mortality because it measures the health of the community. And that's why infant mortality is important, not only here in America, but in the globe. And as we look at infant mortality in America, America ranks 31st or 32nd sometimes with regards to our babies dying. We do worse than places like Sri Lanka and other third world countries. And so our infant mortality is just ridiculous. And if you know anything about that, then you also know that black babies die 2.5 to 3 times the rate of white babies in this country. In some communities that we've worked in New Haven, infant mortality has been 25 deaths per 1,000 live births. So infant mortality is a huge problem, and it's a worse problem in our community. But I'm proud of the work that we do again at Ledgelight and the work that Stephanie and all the others have done. I'm proud because it's the work that Kellogg Foundation is doing across this country with over $75 million invested in the issue of racism with their America Healing Project. And I would encourage you all to check out the Kellogg Foundation's website and just read about that America Healing, because I think that's the next place to go, Baker, is for some more money to look into doing that project that's really addressing racism, and we're way ahead of the game because of the work that Stephanie has been doing with the council. So I'm proud to be here for many, many reasons, and again, looking at the issues of racism, and that is why we have an African American Health Council. The money that came was to focus on heart disease and stroke in the Black community. And I'm often reminded of Gail Christopher's comment, and she is the Senior Vice President of Programs at Kellogg Foundation now. And she says this all the time: we have to put race in front of us before we can put it behind us. I'll say that again because I believe it's true. We have to put race in front of us before we can put race behind us. And I also like the article that Kevin referred to, because I was in Detroit as I grabbed the paper on my way down to one of the sessions, and it was right on time. And the thing about that article, danger hidden in the background, is that they did not tell those people what was going on. That is the tragedy, that is the evil part. It reminds you of what happened with Katrina. They just didn't tell folks you're in danger. With that, I'll take my few minutes, and they've been designed to be shorter than usual and shorter than the time that has been given, and you all get to test that out. I try not to speak. When I go away, I have great experiences, and I try to save that all up for my parishioners on Sunday morning, so I have lots to give them, and I'm so tempted to give you a little bit of that, which I did because of the comment, but I'm not giving you any more. My parishioners will get what they deserve on tomorrow, because I love to come back fresh with them. So, I would like to say this. When America gets a cold, it's been said that Black America gets pneumonia. Racial and ethnic health disparities are real, and they continue to persist, attacking the lives of African Americans at higher rates and then taking them out. The work of the African American Health Council has been to address and to eradicate health disparities and increase the opportunity for African Americans to enjoy highest quality of life in the communities where they live, learn, work, play, and pray. We've addressed these issues with a life course perspective, viewing inequities through the lens of racism and the social determinants of health. It's beyond equality. It's about equity and social justice. Right? If we want our children and the generations after them to have a healthy start, we've got to ensure that there's an equal start. With that, I would like to say good morning to you all. And before I continue, I wouldn't want to go too far without taking time to do this. I believe Stephanie Clark has done an outstanding job and represents the Ledge-Light Health District very well in the work that she does across the state, but specifically in this arena. She represents them well, and I've been proud to watch her as this program has evolved, and she's taken it to a place that was just unimaginable. And so I want to take time, and I want you to join me. I would like to give her a gift, and this book is called The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. And if you haven't read this, you need to read it. Isabel has been out on many, many shows. She was on Tavis's show. She's been in New Haven at Yale. She's been at Harvard with Cornell West. It talks about the great migration of Black people in this country when they all left the South to escape slavery and the racism and the prejudice. They went all over this country, and it gives you a great understanding of our history in the U.S. So join me in giving this great gift to someone who's given us a great gift. And so now I'm asked her to work with me as well, and I'll tell you when to start that. You see the arrow there, and you just have to play with the arrow. This is a new type of presentation I'm doing, and I know Stephanie likes when I do new stuff, so I wanted her to kind of participate, and she can be wild and excited at the same time. So I'll tell you when to go to the next one. So we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How many recognize this from the Declaration of Independence? 1776, and I remind us that slaves were not freed at that time, nor did Thomas Jefferson consider African Americans as fully human. It's an appreciation today that we have the diversity in each of you that works together with us as partners and co-laborers in our community. It is true that we are ever bound in community. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves at fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees that we did not plant. We drink from wells that we did not dig. We profit from persons we do not know. And that's adopted from Deuteronomy 6, 10 through 12. Legacy. This is legacy. For many immigrants, the Statue of Liberty was their first view of the United States, signifying new opportunities in life. The statue is an iconic symbol of the American dream. The American dream is a national ethos of the United States in which freedom includes the opportunity for prosperity and success, and the upward social mobility achieved through hard work. How many know African Americans work very hard in this country and not move too far, even today? In the definition of the American dream by James Truslow Adams in 1931, he said, life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement, regardless of social class or circumstances of birth. The idea of the American dream is rooted in the United States Declaration of Independence, which again proclaims that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Legacy. It was about legacy. Today we're celebrating a legacy of the African American Health Council, but it's important that we remember the legacy that has been laid before us. The GI Bill passed under President Roosevelt in 1944. It offered federal aid to help veterans adjust to civilian lives in the area of hospitalization, purchasing of homes and businesses, and especially education. This act provided tuition, books, supplies, equipment, and counseling for veterans to continue their education at schools and colleges. We need to be reminded that African American soldiers did not receive this benefit. And we wonder why we have trouble with our kids in school, why we can't get them to college. There's a legacy to consider. This is part of the historical legacy of disparities. There was denied access, unfairness, injustice, and lack of opportunity. I believe it was unnatural causes. Is inequality making us sick? They asked the question in that documentary in 2008. And I believe we can also all answer yes, it makes us sick. So the African American Health Council has been creating a new legacy. With that, our theme, creating a legacy and building healthy communities. There you go. So it's important to acknowledge and to celebrate. And that's what we're doing today, acknowledging our work. We've done this survey where we're sharing information with you. There's a report that you'll get to see all the great work that's been done over the 6 years. You've heard from Baker, we've heard from Stephanie, and we celebrate the work of Ledgelight Health District that we recognize we did not do alone. We established a partnership, engaged stakeholders, and that is something that we need to celebrate. We've kept this group together for 6 years. I think that deserves a round of applause. And so you'll see many of those accomplishments when you read the health report, which will be available to you on this. Next. So how many are familiar with the bird called emu? It's an ugly bird that looks like an ostrich. It's the national emblem of Australia. Well, I ran into this bird, or this bird ran into me some years ago. This has become my mantra. Because I learned that this is a bird that does not have the ability to walk backwards. So what it does, it looks backward to get its bearings, and it leaps forward from 6 to 13 feet. And it's resonated with me because of scripture. You know, Paul talks about not looking back but pressing forward, so it works there. And I think in life it works too. When bad things happen, you don't want to go back into the past, but you certainly want to learn from your past to propel yourself forward. So I think all of us can get into this emu way of thinking. So we have to look back in order to leap forward. So we look back over the 6 years and we celebrate all the accomplishments. We look back to acknowledge the lessons learned, the things that we need to take into our future, because it's now time to leap forward. It's about legacy, is it not? And so we've done the convening. What have we learned from when we've gotten together? Those conversations that have happened for 6 years. It has helped move processes. It's helped develop policies. It has made a difference, the convening has. We started with the Celebrate Health series, and we have to give a shout out, as the young people say, even to Cindy Barry, who started those even before staff was hired. And we always have to give credit to our history and the legacy, because it was her letter that made it to my church asking for a part-time person to run the program. And that's how I ended up at Ledgelight. Had not the letter went out to the churches in Groton and New London, I would have never heard about this project targeting African Americans. So it's important. And that Celebrate Health series took us into churches all over Groton and New London, doing workshops around heart disease and stroke. It caused us to make new friends, Debbie and other nurses traveling with us in the churches, in fact. I'll never forget one year at Pentecostal Rescue Mission where we wanted to get together in the morning time and something happened in the scheduling. But Deb, because she's connected, she said, I'll come back and see them in the afternoon. That's the kind of volunteers that help do the programs that we've done over 6 years. That's Celebrate Health. And then along comes Stephanie. She created Together We Can. Sister Talk, Sisters We Can. Everybody was doing it. Stephanie took it to another level. But we had this whole campaign. We were in the newspaper. We did interviews. Together We Can. Because that became our message. Look back. We're going to leap forward. And then the collaboration, working with the hospital, Lawrence and Memorial, Bruce Cumming, Verna Swan, and all the others that came to help us from the hospital community. Mary McGrattan, her work that she was doing, she joined right in to push things for our national partners. Our Connecticut Department of Public Health. All of the collaboration made this possible. And there's been great progress. Again, I'm going to report you to that report that you're going to get a chance to read. So the question that I asked, and that we ask as co-chairs, Jackie and myself, what kind of foundation do you leave for the next generation? Well, our last meeting, we decided we need to leave something concrete. Because this issue is not going away, we need to position ourselves to get some of those dollars. And so the African American Health Council of Southeastern Connecticut is incorporated. And ready for the new leadership. Next. So can I talk about leadership forward, which is a term we've come up with? Leadership forward, moving it forward. Jackie and I have enjoyed being the co-chairs, but it's time for new leadership. And with the way technology is, we need the younger generation, because as sad as it is, I feel old sometimes when it comes to thinking about technology. But these new generation of leaders can take it to a place that many of us just can't do it. And we want to move out of the way and move leadership forward. And it's going to take vision. We've set a vision, but how many know visions can be enhanced and strengthened? And that's what the new leadership is going to do. We also want to remind them it takes commitment. Look for those that have been committed and those that want to commit. Because that's who does the work, those that are truly committed. Not to a paycheck, but committed to the cause, committed to the mission. That's what's gotten us here 6 years. And so looking forward, we certainly want the same commitment. And then also it's going to take integrity. When you talk about building a community coalition, it really takes a lot of work in the community, grassroots effort, because you build up credibility. And then you have to have integrity. You have to do what you say you're going to do. I'm very proud of the community I live in, which is Broughton, because I can say that our health district does what it says it's going to do. And it has since I've been associated. Integrity. Because once you lose that, you've lost everything. Yes. So we need to, looking forward, we want leaders that have vision, that are committed, and have integrity. Now I know it's not church, but I have to say amen when I say integrity. So the conclusion of this talk is this. I'm happy about the work that we've done. We've saved lives. We had losses at the council. Andre Owens, early on, died of a heart attack. But we had some good news twice or 3 times. Well, we had council members that had heart attacks, but they're living today. And one is here tonight. I believe we'll talk about that one later on. Herman, I had to mention him. But we had others, because of their involvement, they knew what to do. Calling the 911, getting right to the hospital, not trying to do things at home, but getting to the hospital has saved lives. And we know that many, many more lives that have been saved. And we know that people are aware. We've sent out over 6,000 pieces of information, brochures, pamphlets that have been in the hands of community members. That's a lot of paper. Next. So moving leadership forward is what we are about right now. Identifying those that are ready to take it to the next level. We've paved the way. Now we want to get out of the way so they can create new pathways to continue this journey in addressing the disparities in African Americans with regards to heart disease, stroke, and other chronic illnesses that we're dealing with. So 2012 and beyond is kind of where we're looking. We're excited because there are leaders that are committed, that have a vision, and that have integrity, that are ready to take the helm. And those are the ones we're welcoming. So you have to fill out those cards that you have. Get involved. Tell others to get involved. Because again, this issue is not going away. Because when we look back, we know there are root causes that need to be addressed. I like eliminating racism. I like undoing racism. I like ending racism. All that is important, but it all involves us looking back in order to leap forward. So thank you for your attention so far. Just a couple minutes. So your theme that you see in your program is creating a legacy for healthy communities. I believe Jackie and myself as leaders and working along with our health district, we've done what has been required of us. And it is time for us to encourage others to do what is in them to do. And that's what we've done in creating this legacy to be built upon, to continue to build healthy communities. This afternoon, or later this morning, we're going to get into these breakout groups, these table talk conversations. And creating a legacy for healthy communities is all about what Stephanie and the planning committee has put together for today. So you haven't been invited by accident. It's on purpose. Because we want to build leaders on the front lines. And so someone's going to talk to you about that. Also, using social networks to create healthier communities. We need to understand how to use technology to do that. And so we're going to talk about that at one of the table talks. Also, communicating cross-cultural encounters. Don't you love that title? Cross-cultural encounters. What do we do as we come together, acknowledging and honoring each other and working together? Where's the synergy in that? That's going to be a great table talk. Also, we're going to talk about shifting the focus to policy changes. And see, that's why we need leadership forward, because now that we've done the groundwork, we've laid the foundation, it's time to really look at the policy implications. And I believe that our health director says this is crucial that we continue the African American Health Council. It is crucial because we need informed discussions, because they lead to what? Informed negotiations. So I'm really excited about leadership forward. How about you? Oh, come on, let me hear it, please. And then they got this guy to come, and he's going to talk about connecting faith-based leaders in healthy communities. I hope he does a good job, because I'm going to watch him very closely. So come to the table to talk. Come to the table to have the discussions that will lead to powerful negotiations. Come to the table to lend your vision, to lend your strength as we continue to create a legacy building healthy communities. Lastly, I would like to say this to you, and thank you for your patience with me this morning. Dr. Martin Luther King said that he had a dream. But his intent was not for us to become so preoccupied with the dream that it immobilizes our actions and our movement towards social justice and equity. We need leadership forward. I grew up hearing, keep the dream alive. But through my 4 decades of community-inspired work, I've learned that dreams can be realized. It is because of the legacy past. And now it is time for us in the legacy present to create the legacy future. And that is why you are here today. We are here today creating legacy for healthy communities. This is Legacy Today. You are Legacy Today. Thank you.
And the poem was entitled Excuses. And I want you to listen to this poem. It's very short and brief, but it says, excuses, excuses, excuses. Excuses are the tools of the incompetent, which create monuments of nothingness. And those who specialize in the use of these tools seldom amount to anything. I'm going to say it again for you. Excuses. Excuses, excuses. Excuses are the tools of the incompetent, which create monuments of nothingness. And those who specialize in the use of these tools seldom amount to anything. Now he said they established a partnership 6 years ago. Because you have to get help. You have to reach out. And this is your time to come together with them. Now, Jimi Hendrix, one of the greatest guitarists that ever lived. Jimi knew how to play the guitar with his feet. He could play the guitar with his teeth. Jimi taught himself how to play the guitar because when he attended church. But one thing Jimi always said was, knowledge speaks, wisdom listens. Knowledge speaks, what?
Wisdom listens.
So today you have an opportunity with different breakout sessions. We're going on break now for 10 minutes because we got to get everything situated in the room. But remember what Jimi said. Knowledge speaks. Wisdom what?
Listen.
Wisdom listens. The information that you get today, there's a reason why you are in this room. And the information that you receive, you don't keep it. You disperse. And you become part of this round table. Because we have to work together in order to create change. The civil rights movement and other movements in this country, when you look at history, happened because people came together. They didn't hold that information. That's what we have to do in this room today. Breakout session, how many minutes?
Couple of groups, things that the Community Health Network has had. I didn't really take how serious my health was until I began to attend all these functions. That's when I took my high blood pressure serious and my diabetes very serious. And it started at just having a screening. I knew I had high blood pressure and I knew I had diabetes. But I never knew how bad it really was, even though I go to doctors all the time, until I had the screening and listened to all the information that I received at the different functions and programs that I attended. And through that, and through attending all these things, I took my health very serious, and at that time, I had lost 38 pounds. I started walking, I started eating better, and I began to spread the word amongst other women and young people, and telling them the importance of us looking out for our lives. A lot of us have had relatives that really, don't pay attention to high blood pressure, don't pay attention to diabetes, and they checked out of here at my age, very young age of But anyway, I want to come back and see all these faces every time I come to something. And I know I am because along with all the past meetings we've had and this one today, those that this may be your first time, it's going to be your best time because you're going to learn more about your health than you ever have before. And one thing I did learn, there's something Reverend Harris said, the first one I attended, about us policing our own health. I didn't know I had certain problems because my doctor never tested me for those things. And it wasn't until I attended the Jocelyn Diabetes Center and they gave me information I needed to ask my primary care. And he had this look on his face like, why are you telling me my job? And I told him it was important for him to test my cholesterol. It was important for him to give me a thyroid test. These were things that weren't being done, and I needed it to be done. But if it had not been for coming to these programs and these meetings, I would not have known that I had the right to ask these questions. So what I'm saying is, Stephanie, Reverend Harris, and all those that work together, continue, continue, continue. Because I just turned this year, and I expect to add a few more years and a few more years, and I believe God, because I asked him, give me 100.
Well,
and I believe if I continue to do the things and walk the way I'm supposed to walk and do the things I'm supposed to do, I'm going to get what he's got that I asked for. You will be seeing me more. I'll be coming more because I need all the information and knowledge that I can get. And what you learned here today, spread it to your families and your friends, and tell them the importance of getting their blood pressure checked. Even ask about diabetes, because just because you think you don't have it, you may be walking with it. Yeah. I had 2 10-pound babies many years ago. They told me I was a walking poster girl for diabetes, but no one ever checked my glucose levels, knowing that I had 2 10-pound babies. So according to my new doctor said, you probably were walking around with that diabetes for many years before you finally had an episode that brought you to the point where you finally had to be put on medication. So what I'm saying is, police your own health. Tell them what you need to have looked at. And don't, if they get upset and they still get upset, find a new doctor. Find a new doctor, because you have that right to police your own health. God bless. Have a good day.
Give her another round of applause, please. Now, what was she saying when she said, She said what? You need to what? Advocate for your what? Yourself. Police your own health. I hope you were listening. Advocate for yourself. Now, when I walked around the different groups, the different sessions that were taking place, some of the things, because I like to listen, I like to make sure I learn. I always say I'm a baby, because I'm always learning something new. And I'll share some of the things with you that I heard, came across. The #1 killer for African Americans HIV, and what else, Reverend Harris? Heart disease, STI, which is a result from depression. Okay? Not getting help. Then I walked around a little bit more, little policy changes. And I had a big sign on the PowerPoint. Trayvon Martin's death, a window of opportunity for policy and systems change. What do we mean by policy? Systems of laws, regulations, public funding, priorities. Then I walked around a little bit more and I heard a gentleman over here say, 1 African American birth and 1 abortion. And 1,200 abortions a day. How many abortions a day? 1,200. And then I saw a big sign over here that said, how to keep people engaged. How to improve engagement. And then one of the questions I've always heard, and it's so true, what is in it for me? That selfish mentality that we have as organizations and groups. What is in it for me? Let's take that and branch it out, and let's help each other. Then I went in here and I saw something with Coleman versus Planned Parenthood. And then start with the family. I heard some things with that. Echoes. Start with the family. Organizations are very territorial. 93% is what? Body, in addition, what is it? Body language. Nonverbal communication. And then I heard from that workshop, we cannot assume that every person is hearing the same message. We cannot assume. So the knowledge that you acquire today, from whatever workshop you were in today, please take it serious. Please learn from this. Jimi Hendrix said what? Knowledge speaks, wisdom listens. But we also have to be proactive. Now Reverend Harris is going to come up here now. And he's going to do the community perspective wrap-up. I know Reverend Harris. You ready? All right. Thank you.
And I would like to call my co-chair up, and I really appreciate working with Jackie Massett. I got to know her as a co-chair and the work that she's done in the Ledgelight Health District, but also in the community, and she served in several capacities in municipalities, and so she's just a great woman who I've watched help practically raise her granddaughter, who's a fantastic young lady, Genevieve. But this is Jackie Massett, our co-chair. She will just join me on the podium. Give her a hand, please. All the great conversations that we've had today, we could not have had, and Stephanie could not do the work that she does. Jackie and I couldn't do the work that we've been afforded to do without vision and leadership. And so we really want to acknowledge the leadership that's in our area in the form of Baker Salisbury, our director of the Ledgelight Health District. So he deserves a hand because of the work that he's allowed this council, the work that comes out of Ledgelight Health District. I'm awfully proud of them. And if someone can get our nurse, Debbie and Tina, I really want to give them a hand because Debbie especially has every event we have. Okay, they're gone, but that's okay. But we still want to give them applause for that action. They come and they have credibility in the community. And again, you probably saw that they're not as tan as we are, but I tell you, they have credibility in our community because they know, love, and trust our community, and the community trusts them. So it's important that we really show how we're working together. And those nurses really have been awesome over the years. So, at this time, we want to do our awards. So, I don't have anything else to say about the wrap-up. Kevin, you did a great job with that, I believe. And I've heard from people individually that enjoyed the day. We're going to translate all this note paper and we'll make it available on the website at some point. We have your reports that you can look forward to getting on this. Just make sure you fill out the back of your name tag, and you will return those name tags in when you leave today. But fill that out so that we make
This afternoon is the Institutional Partnership Award, and it is presented to STEPS, Striving Toward Empowered Personal Success. And I just have to say, it's an incredible organization. It does so much for the young ladies that are there. And Bea and her staff they're wonderful. So thank you so much, ladies, for what you've done.
And I just had to say something because I've worked with Bea for so long, and I'm calling her Bea today because I call her Sister Bea. But again, we're going to direct you to, I believe, on the Electrolyte Health site. Can they still see the video? Okay, I believe you still can check out the video that she did with her girls on STEPS. It's a very powerful, powerful video that she was able to do with some funding from Electrolyte. And the work that she does in the community, working in our middle schools, working in our community with these young girls, and STEPS is a program that sticks with these girls from beginning to whenever. They're there to support them in their needs. I just want to mention that she is a special person in her own right, and many of you that know her understand that. So here's Bea.
First, I'd like to thank God for giving me the vision to help our young girls in our community. I'd like to thank the African American Health Council and the Legislative Health District. This is such an honor for us. This is our first award. We've been working for 6 years in the community. We work with young girls at Westside Middle School in Groton, as well as at Benny Dover Jackson in New London. I have to say thank you to all the women that I work with, because they are so committed and dedicated to the cause. They are passionate about what we do, and we're out there to empower the lives of our young ladies. I'd also like to thank Born Again Church and Pastor Ken. Once I received a vision from God, he encouraged me. I was really, I will say, timid about going out into the community and about moving it forward. But I want to thank him for his encouragement, and also as well co-pastor Angela. It's been wonderful working with our young ladies in the community. You see them grow, you see them mature, you see them take your words, and their lives are changed. So I would really like to thank everyone for this award.
I need one more basket of rolls. Yeah, that is one.
So I feel like important. I've been taking pictures and stuff. Thank you, Tom, making me feel it's very important.
You are.
No scandals, though. We don't want any scandals.
Don't worry.
The next award we'd like to give an Institutional Partnership Award, and this is a young woman and a company that we've grown to love, and I'm happy to say that this is a person who I consider a friend. Not only a friend to me, but she's a friend to community. She's committed to issues or addressing issues around cultural diversity, cultural responsiveness, and cultural compassion. She's a very compassionate woman. And everyone that works with her, she attracts the compassion to work with her. And the work that she does in running the Providence Center in New London, and the work that comes out, the exhibits, she really puts her heart and her soul into what she does. And she embodies the work that she so proudly does. And I would like to give the Institutional Partnership Award to Mahoba Communications Nadesha.
really a surprise for me, although I shouldn't be. Ken knows me well. He had to help me up those steps because as grateful as sometimes I appear to be, I'm not. Constantly. Yes, I have been working with Ken and Stephanie and the whole team of the African American Health Council for quite a while now, and even before the African American Health Council, really addressing issues of what we term, all of us, oppression of many members in our community, and the importance of all members in all communities to really live free to get a good education, free to have access to good health care, free to have healthy communities, free to walk around and not be judged by the hood they wear on their heads, free to just be, free to just be. And that is the work that all of us together, every single one of us together, regardless of the background, ethnic, national origin, sexual orientation, religious beliefs, etc., 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 need to come together. Because it is the way we're going to be able to change a system that continues to insist, and I want to say that, insist in maintaining us divided, in maintaining us really sick and educated and not having access to all the things that, what is it that the Constitution said? That we are entitled to, born with that right to live free, happy, and what? Pursue happiness, to pursue wellness. So this, I suppose, thank you so very much, but it hasn't been the work of Providence Center without the work of many, many, many people that are actually sitting here to make it happen, and particularly Stephanie. Stephanie has been right there, right along with me, working at Providence Center to raise awareness around cultural issues and issues of social justice, human rights, and oppression. Thank you, everyone.
All right, before the last award, I just want to pause and do grace, if that's all right. Because I know that many of you are people of faith, and I didn't see you praying. The last award, although we did not do it in order, because if we could have done all three at the same time, we would have. So, but this is the last award of this afternoon, because Jackie and I are hungry too. And this is the Andre Owens Memorial Outstanding Community Leadership Award. And I mentioned earlier that Andre was a brother of the council, and we lost him to a heart attack. When we started the council many, many years ago, he was one of the first community members that came representing the NAACP. And from what I understood, he worked throughout the night, took a nap during the day so that he could get to the council meeting, went home to go back to sleep so that he could get up to go to work. But his commitment was outstanding. And so we wanted to have an award in his honor, but again, we're calling this Outstanding Leadership Award. He would make sure that he had all of the handouts so that he could take back to his leadership, the president of the NAACP, as well as additional flyers or tract, and he made sure they got into the community where he lived, and where he worked, and where he prayed. It was a sad loss for us when Andre passed, but we want to continue to honor him through the African American Health Council, and that is why this Outstanding Leadership Award has been established. And it is quite distinguished in our opinion, and we're very proud for the first time to give it out to to Tasha Blanco Douglas.
Okay, so thank you very much for this award. Many of you may not know me. Reverend Harris said earlier about legacy. Many of you probably know my grandparents. I am the granddaughter of Clarence H. Falk and Gloria Falk, who have passed on. This leadership means a lot to me. This award means so much to me because as a legacy, I believe that my work that I do has been genetically placed in me. And so I've been blessed to have this already instilled in me, and through the work that I do, it just comes natural because everybody has a story. Planned Parenthood of Southern New England, I've worked there for 13 years. I've worked in collaboration with Stephanie on many things when we were starting things that we didn't even know what we were doing. So I love Stephanie's efforts. I plan on joining the African American Health Council. I'm honored to be in the room with all of you today. I'm honored to meet all of you, and I'm glad that we were all able to share our opinions, and thank you so much.
And with that, I say thanks again to my co-chair.